How has having positive mentors benefited your career later on down the line?
In the start of my career, I didn't really understand the value of mentorship, and perhaps I didn't use it that much. We do have something which is assigned as part of your work. So I used to work in Accenture, and you would have a career counselor, which is an obligatory type of role, and you have to have them whether you get along with them or perhaps you don't get along with them.
Mm.
And I think what happened with me, I did have a period of time when perhaps I wasn't so happy with my career. So I did change my career counselor to another person who was treating me more on a personal level, going from the point of view, what is it that really matters to you? And perhaps not having the framework, such as like, let's meet once a month and talk about these 10 questions which you want to talk about, but it felt like he really cared about what is it I feel and what is it I want to do. And that was a changing point for me in terms of mentorship. I do find that when I didn't really have a mentor, I would try and do really very many things. And I think I'm quite good in doing what I'm doing, but I was just doing everything which I could do. And it could be a little bit more targeted, more strategic, and just make me more happy instead of just going and doing every single thing. And mentorship has helped me focus my energy into the prioritized areas which bring the best benefits just based on the experience of the other people, what they can share with me. And I think that's probably what I value most.
I know that you also personally struggle to, I guess, find a mentor and sponsor who would stand up for you in difficult times. So, of course, you went through one stage of changing your career counselor, but how else did you overcome this blocker?
I just want to say that I've had 9 career counselors in 6 years. So I did change them quite a few times. I also started thinking about it broader because, to be honest, you can have mentors in different areas. And you don't have to have just one person to mentor you. And you don't really have to have it as an official relationship. You can have some sort of informal mentorship. So, for example, what I'm doing at the moment and what I've been doing maybe for the last few months is finding the people or identifying the people who I really like and they are quite successful in what they do. It may be different areas. It may be a career. It may be like public speaking. It may be something to do with psychology. And I reach out to them to essentially to interact with them. It can be that they have some courses which I can buy and listen to, or they may have some interactive consultations which I could again get part of. So what I found out, the key for me is not to wait that somebody is going to appear in your life at some point in time and make it better, but more to think about it strategically. Where do you want to get to? And essentially just reach out yourself and see how it goes. I do want to say that perhaps some people with who I'm interacting today are not the people who I would have thought want to interact with me under, I guess, normal circumstances. So one of them is a radio host in Russia who used to work on Channel 4. And then there is also Miss Russia who won this beauty competition. So I never thought that they actually perhaps want to interact with someone like me. At least some time ago, that was my perception. But what I found out is there is an opportunity of reaching out to these people. Some of them may not respond straight away, but generally people want to help you and they value the fact that you want to become better. And if you are a quick learner and you really plan to kind of spend the effort on it, they will invest time. And that is kind of the key thing which changed my behavior and made me adapt my approach.
So, let's say you found a mentor that you're happy with.
Mhm.
How can you understand the feedback that they give you and act upon it to get the best outcomes?
First of all, agree with your mentor. What is it you want them to mentor you on so that they're quite clear in terms of what type of feedback you are expecting? What I found is if you work in a corporate, there is an official process of getting this feedback, and there are official standards of certain timelines and certain forms how this practically works. When you have informal mentorship, it doesn't necessarily work in the same structure. So it can be someone telling you from time to time as you meet them, some points of things which are advice, and it's not necessarily written down or set in stone, but you just grab it and act upon it. What I've been doing, I've been asking different people for different opinions, and I would always get different perspectives. And then I would essentially try to come up with an action plan. What is it exactly I need to do? Because sometimes you find different people see you from a different lens. They could be either too close to you or not too close to you, or they just have their own experience. And the key for me is to collect all of this bundle of feedback across key areas together, structure it, and then ultimately logically apply it to my personal situation and try to agree a set of actions with myself for the next 2 or 3 months. Now, what is quite important with this is not just to do an action plan, because sometimes people say, yes, I'm going to do it, but then a week passes and they don't do anything. What's important is to try acting as soon as possible and then try to get some sort of either habits or routine or some sort of daily small actions which you can do to make it happen.
I know you're also a part of a few networks that promote mentorship as well. So I'd love to hear a bit more about that.
I'm actually helping 3 networks at the moment. One of them is Kajigo. So Kajigo is an online platform which is targeted at schoolgirls who are between the age of 13 and 18. And it's more an online platform where you can listen to mentors like myself and my peers in terms of the video recordings. So it's meant to inspire you, give you some practical advice, but at the same time, it's not necessarily scheduled meetings, right? If you want, you can reply, you can ask for further questions, but it's more done as part of the platform, it's more offline. What is interesting is they do have a future forward-looking schedule of actually going to schools so that the schoolgirls can see these mentors live and ask them something, more specific perhaps. But still, this more works as an app, if this makes sense.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 networks, so one is Migrant Workers, which is more targeted at different migrant minorities who perhaps don't have substantial money to go to universities, but they do want to be successful in their job. And then the second one is like-minded females. So it is more girls, women who may want to go to technology, maybe they're not sure, or they maybe don't really know yet, they want to find out, or maybe they know, but they want to talk to somebody. And I think what's interesting about these networks is there is a very good thinking thought process made in advance in terms of matching the mentor and the mentee. And this allows to have a targeted interest, hopefully, which works together much more closely than if you just do it on an online platform. And what I've been doing there, I've been doing like targeted one-to-one sessions with the girls and the guys. That is something which we take offline, but we would have them roughly, I don't know, once in 2 weeks, once in a month, depending on the situation. These platforms, they're all free of charge. So it's all kind of non-profit.